Hey all, this is meant to be a slight companion video to my previous video on the 686. In my 686 video, I briefly mentioned that FBI Special Agent Edmundo Ed Morales used his personal Smith & Wesson 686 to dispatch the two armed robbers, William Lee Platt and William Russell Maddox. Well, I got a negative comment claiming that the FBI did not approve personal weapons for the agents to use, and that Ed Morales did not use a Smith & Wesson 686 during the shootout. Well, that comment was wrong, and I'm going to give you some information and documentation to prove that it is wrong. As an aside, this is not meant to be a complete coverage of the FBI Miami-Dade shootout, as other folks have already covered this in much greater detail than I can provide. I will link a couple of resources down below that are coverage of the whole shooting, but I'm also going to be covering some of the FBI declassified documents that were obtained through the Freedom of Information Act. So all that information will be down in the description. Let's get into the video though. To give you a look behind the wizard's curtain, I try to do research before making a statement about something historic in one of my videos. For my 686 video, that meant digging into the background behind why the L-frame came to be made, but also how it was used by law enforcement. I called the 686 the last true combat revolver, and part of that basis is that it was introduced at the tail end of the revolver being the primary service weapon of law enforcement in the United States. Well, one famous instance of the 686 being used by law enforcement was at the 1986 FBI Miami-Dade shootout. During the process for making my 686 video, I found information that Ed Morales had used his personal Smith & Wesson 686 to end the gunfight. Well, that wasn't just me making that up, or me looking at Wikipedia and not going to any further resources and then just calling it good. My comment came from numerous articles that I read and an interview done by Masad Ayub with Ed. Ed also wrote a book about the gunfight, and I'm sure he mentions the 686 there too, but in the spirit of full disclosure, I've not read Ed's book yet. Now, I would say that that puts all of the discussion of the 686 at the FBI 1986 Miami-Dade shootout to rest, but I went a little bit deeper. Through the Freedom of Information Act, the FBI bureau file for the shootout is available online, and I have it linked down in the description below. You can read it and see what weapons and equipment every FBI agent had, and whether it was issued or approved for use by the FBI. Well, Ed was carrying his personal, FBI-approved Smith & Wesson 686 on April 11th, 1986. He was carrying 38 Special Plus P, which was the standard FBI loading of the time. I did not specify the ammo that Ed used during my last video, but truth be told, I didn't point out the ammo because the video was about the 686, not about the ammo used in that specific part of the 686. And truth be told, my comment about the FBI shooting of 1986 was really just part of a 5-second section in an 8-minute long video. So Ed used his 686 at the fateful shootout. Simple enough there. However, I found another interesting tidbit, and that relates to the bad guys there at the shootout. I think it's pretty well known that Platt and Maddox had a shotgun in the Ruger Mini 14, but less folks are probably aware that they also had .357 Magnum revolvers. Well, one of those revolvers was the Smith & Wesson 586, another L-frame. Maybe I'm just a nerd, but I do think it's interesting that the L-frame was on both sides of one of the most important gunfights of history. And that's the video. Short one for today, but I thank you for watching. Big thanks to our channel members and patrons. If you'd like to financially support the channel, you can do so by becoming a channel member or joining the Patreon, both linked down below in the description. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.